You are with the big story this afternoon. I'm Seher Zama. In the top focus, doctors are protesting again. They're protesting across the country. They're striking from work because they're against the National Medical Commission bill, which is under discussion in the Rajya Sabha today. The bill has already been passed in the Lok Sabha this week. Doctors have been protesting against it here, saying that the bill is anti-poor, it is anti-medical students, and it is also undemocratic for medical practitioners. While some doctors in protest are not working in their hospitals, OPDs and ICUs, others are wearing black badges. The government says, though, that the NMC will be patient-centric. It is for the people. The question that we're asking here on why exactly are the doctors against it? Also, the larger concern here being that can this new law weed out corruption that had existed in the Medical Council of India, which is, of course, now been dissolved. Let's get in further inputs. We have with us our correspondent Ayushman getting us those details here. While we get those inputs, we've been playing images there from across the country. This is once again a pan-India protest by doctors. Ayushman, one question that the doctors have not managed to address. If the government continues to say that this is patient-centric, this is more for the rights of the patient, why are doctors protesting against it?
Well, sir, if you talk to the doctors, they have an opinion that says that this bill is not doing any good to the healthcare system and the doctors' situation in the country. They say that this bill empowers the quakes to practice medicines, modern medicines, and anyone who is associated with medicine can practice it. This bill empowers them. They say that in the rural areas, in the very far distant areas of this country, the healthcare hasn't improved yet. And this bill will empower all the quacks to practice the modern medicine, which will threaten the life of all those who are living in those areas. At the same time, they say that the government has scrapped the system of MCI, where the MCI was empowered to grant the status, and they used to introspect and inspect the colleges.
Licenses.
This time it would be done by the people who are getting this will be done by the people who are getting selected from the government. So every doctor there in the AIMS Resident Doctor Association, they are opposing it, saying this bill is doing no good to the doctors who are right now practicing, or in case the future doctors who are going to become doctors, this bill is doing no good to them. This is what the RDA says.
Okay, well, Ayushman, stay on with us, please. We're going to be taking in further inputs, but let's also go across to our panelists with us this afternoon. We have Dr. Parthiv Sanghvi, former Secretary of the State of IMA, also Sancheta Gajapati Raju, a leader of the BJP. Many thanks for both of you being with us. First to you, Doctor. In the criticism here that has been put across by the medical community, there is also a larger question that is there a fear that given the fact that earlier the MCI, which of course was dissolved last year, the doctors had more control on the system. The larger fear here is that with the NMC, doctors will lose that control, and that perhaps is the real reason for this protest.
No, I don't think so. That is the reason at all. Because we as doctors have nothing to fear. If today we are protesting against this bill, it is only for the future generations who are aspiring to be doctors, who are in the process of being doctors, or for the patient community, that means the population at large. Because if you go to see, as practitioners, we are not going to be affected at all. The protesting students are also not going, the postgraduates are not going to be affected. It is the new rung of students who are still studying, who are aspiring to be doctors. They are going to face problems, and the community at large is going to face a hell of a lot of problems.
How is that? How are we looking at our young medical practitioners or aspiring students to face problems? If you could please further explain that.
No, I will elaborate on that. See, students till date were, after passing an MBBS final year examination, were granted a degree and a registration which would be temporary in nature. They would follow their internship program of 1 year, after which they would be given permanent residency, permanent registration, and thereafter they are licensed to practice. Now, with this NMC bill which has been passed in the Lok Sabha, the provisions are that there is going to be one common next exam. Now, what is this next exam? After passing the MBBS examination of final year, the doctors will still not be able to practice medicine even after completing their internship. And why is that so? Because they have to still appear for one more licensing exam. Now, this licensing exam, which is the next exam, has a dual purpose. It will give a license to practice as well as it will be a screening test for the postgraduate entrance exam. That means it's also going to be a postgraduate entrance exam. Now, what does our history say? Till last year, if I were to tell you, 1,38,000 MBBS doctors appeared for the NEET postgraduate exam and only 65,000 actually passed or qualified that exam. Forget getting the PG seat. So effectively, almost 50% did not pass that tough NEET exam. So that NEET exam is to see your caliber for postgraduate
studies. More stringent.
Now let me just complete.
That's right. But next exam that has been suggested is a dual purpose, as you said. It is testing your. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is not only testing my MBBS final year exam,
we're ensuring that we have a qualified set of youngsters for the next stage.
That is what, listen to me. Now here at one side you are going to say that we are having a dearth of doctors, and here for MBBS graduates who are passing their exams still will not qualify to practice because they have got the burden of one more exam which is next. And next exam or the NEET exam is difficult for our rural students, for our backward classes students, where the sole purpose is to get armed with a degree and to serve the population. If those students who are not aspiring for post-graduation, why are you unnecessarily putting them through the grind of such a difficult exam, which is only, again, which is only going to
Miss Sancheta, please respond to that. Are you in agreement with that concern? Is this a valid concern? Because at the end of the day, if the system does get more rigorous, we're also ensuring
and one more point,
far more capable, qualified set of youngsters entering the system. No, let's have Mr. Sancheta respond to your first point here. Please go ahead.
You know, first of all, I want to say that I think this is a very historic day. While the discussion is going on, I'm sorry, I'm getting an echo. Mera hi awaaz mere wapas aa raha hai.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Okay, we're going to be fixing that. Please bear with us. Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, I presume you can hear me. Let me just say a couple of points. Number one, this is a very, I'm going to remove the earpiece. This is a very historic day for us because not only has the Lok Sabha passed it, the Rajya Sabha the discussion is ongoing right now as we speak. And I mean, this is to improve the quality of medical education in the country. At the end of the day, if you look at healthcare, unless you ensure that there's quality medical education available for everybody and there's transparency in the system, there is no way we can improve healthcare and ensure that the last mile delivery, which is what is missing, is actually followed through. So that is the entire intention of the bill, and we will all agree that the Medical Council of India is largely discredited. And I mean, this is not about politics. This is even the Supreme Court has said that, where some of the officials have been arrested, there have been income tax raids. There are deep-rooted vested interests in the Medical Council of India. The government is
Sancheta,
at standardizing medical
Sancheta,
education.
you're saying about the system being transparent here, but there are also questions being raised as far as who the community health provider is going to be.
So wherever you've studied, you need to have a single entrance exam.
Right, but Sancheta, you'll have to
on the students also. Ensure
okay,
that
I'm going to be requesting our camera person to please fix the earpiece there for Sancheta so she could hear my next question here. But Dr. Parthiv, let me put forth that question here to you. The other concern that is being raised by the medical community here is the community health provider. You say that there is absolute ambiguity in that. Licenses are going to be given to 3.5 lakh unqualified non-medical persons. How is that possible?
Now here the act is very clearly saying under section 32, which provides for the provisions of a community health worker. Now who is a community health worker? The bill says that anybody who is associated with the field of medicine, that means the nursing staff is associated with the field of medicine, an optometrist who just gives you your reading glasses numbers is associated with the field of medicine, the pharmacist who is dispensing medicines in the medical store is associated with the field of medicine. So whereas you are making a double examination for a final MBBS student in order to practice, here all these people will be given direct registration from the medical council of the National Medical Council, and they can practice. Now, to what
The
extent
NMC,
they are going
right.
to practice, where they are going to practice, what they are going to dispense is absolutely ambiguous. Nobody is clarifying. So here, even after a grueling 5 years of MBBS studentship, you are giving a burden of 2 exams before giving a license to actually practice from the National Medical Commission. And here you are grooming such uneducated people, which are against the recommendations of the Bohr Committee of 1946, which has said that the only education which can bring down infant mortality rate, which can bring down maternal mortality rate, is going to be the MBBS degree. And over the years, we have almost now come to matching national WHO figures. But here you want to give licenses to everybody and anybody, and that is up to 30%.
So there is, in your understanding, there is a dichotomy as far as dealing with community health providers and in dealing with qualified doctors who've already completed their MBBS. Yes, we get your point. Our correspondent Ayushman is getting us further inputs here.
Precisely.
Ayushman, this is another peg to this here, the positive to this, that the government of India has been saying that because the MCI, which needed to be dissolved to weed out corruption, the NMC is going to be entirely corruption free. You have all the members, all 25 members that would be nominated by the government seen and light to take control over the medical profession, and there will be no corruption. How many takers for that within the medical community?
That is what the doctors say, that that is what the doctors have been saying, that earlier they used to contest and this time they will be selected. So where is the representation first? Second thing the doctors are saying, and they have been repeating it for a longer period of time, and this time that has also resonated in Rajya Sabha, where Jairam Ramesh has said that all those who practices medicine, this is a new species. That's what the doctors have said, that anybody related to medicine can become a doctor. So a compounder becomes a doctor, a nurse becomes a doctor, and everybody. And given the healthcare system in the urban and rural India, you know, the doctors have been saying that there is apprehension that a person who knows only one medicine can become a doctor, and there is a threat to people's life. At the same time, the examination which a panelist was also raising question on, the doctors are also saying that this examination, at the same time giving complete autonomy to NMC, where the private medical colleges will have their own jurisdiction for inspection. This will further, this won't do anything good or won't bring transparency. This is what the doctors are saying. At the same time, 50% of the seats will go out of the government's hand. That clearly means that the medical education is going to be more costlier. These are all the point of contentions between doctors and the NMC bill. And these doctors have been protesting, saying that if the amendments, proposed amendments are to be taken,